Hi there, it's Ann Carden here, and I want to welcome you back to video 3. And this is probably one of my favorite videos of all four of these because this is the phase where we really do a deeper dive into your business and we look for those opportunities where you can go make some money right away. So I'm excited about this phase, and this is going to be a little bit longer than the other two. So just to kind of, again, if you haven't watched video 1 and 2, I really want to encourage you to watch these videos in sequence. They're going to make the most sense. You don't want to miss any steps because these steps really do need to happen in order, in sequence, for you to be able to scale your business. And we are talking about scaling like a boss, which is basically get you at the top of the mountain as the boss, building the business, running the business, and having that business grow. And it's about making faster financial leaps in your business in a more profitable way with less energy and less time. And the reason I love the scale method is because it really is about spending less time, less money, less energy to get more freedom, more money, and more fun back into your business, or more enjoyment back into your business. So now that we have figured out what our vision is for our business, we already know that we want to double our business. We're talking about a $500,000 business, a very small business. We want to break through that first $1 million. We know that our gap is $500,000. We talked about how to strategize and create that roadmap and the things that you need to look at and build into your plan to help you get here. And now we're going to actually break down and look at some strategies. So the next phase is what we call optimize. And I love this phase because this is what I love to do in people's businesses. And this is where some cool things really start to happen. And not only can you make a lot of money in your business by doing the optimized phase, but the cool thing is you're also setting your business up for success. You're actually going to be building your business into an asset that could potentially be sold someday, or you can exit. And so this phase is really, in a way, really the meat and the potatoes, the infrastructure and the sustainability of your business. So let's dive in. What does it mean to optimize? Basically, it means to capture all the money that you can in your business while leveraging your time. So in this phase, we're going to talk about really leverage, and we're going to talk about making more money. And I'm going to show you some areas that are definitely untapped in most businesses. And again, these are some of the quick strategies that you can implement right away. So when we talk about optimizing the business, we're talking about, again, leverage of time and money. So this is where we're going to, first of all, we want to make as much money with what we're already doing. This is kind of like growing your business from the inside out versus the outside in. So the traditional growth model that most business owners instinctively know to do is let's market, let's bring business in, right? But this is about optimizing what you're already doing and making everything work better and not leaving money on the table. And it's also about leveraging your team and leveraging your time and helping you get freedom back into your life. Okay, so let's start out. I want to walk you through basically my step-by-step process of what I do when I go work with a business owner and what I help my clients do. The first thing we want to do is what I like to call fast money. And I love this because this is where we like to squeeze the money out of the business that already is sitting there. Okay, and let me give you some examples of this. Let's say you have a database, right, of people that are already, maybe they've thought of doing business with you and they haven't. Maybe they have done business with you in the past, but you haven't sold them anything for a long time. Maybe they're currently doing business with you. So I want you to think about what can you put together to go sell to people and market to people who are already in your ecosystem. Okay, they're already in your database. You're already connected to them. A lot of times businesses don't tap the low-hanging fruit in their business, and it is the thing that can put so much money in their pocket. Now, sometimes you have to innovate. Sometimes you have to create something to go and sell. Sometimes you have things that you can go and sell, but you just haven't tapped that low-hanging fruit. So think about people who have thought about buying from you in the past. Maybe they're in your database, they're in your ecosystem, but they haven't bought from you. What can you go and try to sell them? Think about people who have bought from you in the past and they haven't bought from you for a long time. Again, what can you go and sell them? And then think about people that are buying from you right now that need something else. Again, are you maximizing the people that you already have right in front of you? That's the very first strategy. That's a fast strategy that you can implement. Another thing you can do is you can look at follow-up is another way to make fast money. Have you had some sales presentations or sales calls or conversations or whatever, and those sales did not close? When was the last time someone followed up with those people? Are there some people that you can follow up with? Maybe you dropped the ball there. Maybe that is one of those areas where sometimes there are leaks in a business where you could actually go back to those people and you could close that sale or make that sale. And so think about the follow-up. I know a lot of times business owners are working awfully hard out there to create all these leads and generate all these leads, but then a lot of those leads fall through the cracks because they don't have a good follow-up system in place. Another area that you can look at for fast money is if you've already got business coming in, you've already got people calling, your phone is ringing, right? What's happening right at the first phone call? When I go in and work with a business owner, we have to look at this in their business. How are they answering the phone? Is their staff answering the phone in the right way that's helping the business, that's getting people through the door? Or is there a lot of business being lost right at the first phone call? And I can tell you in a lot of businesses, there is a lot of business lost at the first phone call. Or say you're a contractor, for example, and you're answering your own phone and you're busy and you're out running estimates and you're doing all these different things and you can't even call people back. You're so busy you can't even call people back. Or you're running all these estimates and you can't even get back with people because you're so busy. Those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. Until you fix all of these things, you're not positioned for growth. There's no point in spending more time and energy marketing. Take a contractor, for example. There's no time in running all over the place doing estimates if you're not even following up with the estimates that you're writing up for people. And so these are all areas, again, where you can capture quick money in your business if you just took the time to invest in this. Another area is receivables. I have worked with businesses where they've had an enormous amount of receivables out and they couldn't figure out where their money was. And their money was out in receivables. It was money that was owed to them, but they didn't have a good collection process in place. And so they weren't collecting on those things the way they needed to. And again, these are leaks in a business that can be easily fixed. You just need a system or a process. Which brings me to the next point of optimize. All of these things require a system or a process. Think about the phone script that you could create and the process that the person on the phone could go through to make sure you know how your marketing dollars are working, to make sure they're doing the right things to get people through your door, to get people into a sales conversation with you or into a consultation with you. Give people a phone script that they can follow that is going to benefit your company so you quit losing money at the first phone call. That's one way. So think about a system in everything that you do. Again, follow-up system, right? A sales system. All of those things need to be put in place along the way in a business so that you're setting your business up for success. You're turning your operation into something that is going to be very turnkey. And one of the mistakes business owners make is they put out fires or they stay on the hamster wheel over and over and over again. And instead of just taking the time to set up a process or a system for something that could eliminate all that time. And that brings me to another point in optimizing. How efficient is what you're doing in your business? Is that costing you money, or are you losing money in efficiency? For a lot of businesses, they're losing money in efficiency. Again, if you're having to reinvent the wheel every time you get a phone call and you're losing some of that business, that's costing your company money. Also, having systems and processes in place is going to build a stronger team. You're setting your team up for success. People want to genuinely be successful in your business as your employee, but often owners don't give them the tools or the resources to help them be successful. And so these are all things that are very, very important. All right, so once we capture the fast money, so to speak, what's the money being left on the table? Where are the leaks in the business? Now, we want to actually look at the sales and marketing. Okay. And the reason for this is there's a lot of money lost in sales and marketing. So the first thing we want to do is we want to look at how many leads do you have coming into your business and how quality are those leads. I will tell you, when you can fix marketing a lot of times, first of all, you have to be tracking and measuring so you know how your marketing is working. And a lot, again, requires a system or a process, right? A lot of business owners don't have this in place. They'll hire a marketing person. They'll be like, well, my marketing person handles that. Well, that's not a responsible way to manage your money or your business. You need to know as an owner what's working, how you're spending your money, how your dollars are being invested, and how you're getting a return on those dollars if you really want to be a business that's going to be around for a long time. So don't put your business in the hands of other people without monitoring and tracking what is going on. So let's look at your marketing and your leads. And I'll give you an example of this. I had a client that I worked with. And when we went in, they had somewhat a tracking system for their marketing. And they were spending a lot of money on marketing. I mean, up about $150,000 a year in marketing. And for a small business, that's a substantial amount of money for marketing. And when we looked at the business, when we looked at the marketing, and we actually tracked it for the first month I started working with them, we discovered that really his marketing was break even. He wasn't really losing money, but he wasn't making money. About the only thing it was doing really was bringing in cash flow. Well, that's great, and you need cash flow, but trust me, wouldn't it be better to be profitable and be making a lot of money on those marketing dollars versus just breaking even, right? It's a lot of time, effort, and cost to just break even. So what we did was we actually cut away the things that weren't working because we were tracking it to see what was working, what wasn't. We ramped up what was working. Long story short, over the course of 12 months, we were able to put about $46,000 in marketing cost back into his pocket, right back to his bottom line. So he spent, from the previous year, he spent about $46,000 less. Now, here was the great thing. He also doubled his business, and he was able to get a 2,200% return on every dollar he spent. In fact, we had to cut back his marketing because now he had to handle the growth coming in, right? So when your marketing's working better, you're spending less, you're getting more bang for your buck, basically, and you don't need as much marketing cost to get this, really, to grow your business. And so one of the first things to look at is, how is your marketing working? Are you set apart in the industry? Do you look different? Are you tracking what's working? Are you cutting away what's not working? Are you tweaking? Are you shifting? And so that's all part of a marketing strategy. So when I go into work with the business, that's one of the first things I look at is, how is your marketing working? And are we tracking this? And do we know? The next thing we look at is sales. How is your sales conversion? So now you've got a lot of leads coming into your business, but maybe you're not closing as many as you can. Again, these are areas where money leaks, right? Money can leak in your marketing, money can leak in your sales process. So if you're not closing the amount of sales you could, you're basically missing out on all of that money that's not costing you anything additional to make. That customer, that client, that prospect is already in front of you. Does it make sense to close more sales? And so this is, again, is a problem. It's really one of the most overlooked strategies in a small business, is the sales conversion. So if you have a sales conversion of 25 or 30%, what happens if you can get that up to 50 or 55 or 60%? Do you see how it's not going to cost you any more in client acquisition, but it is going to boost your revenue, boost your cash flow, boost your profitability? So again, what do we need to do to fix, optimize the sales and the marketing in your business? The third thing we want to look at is team. Again, how efficient is your team? Where are the areas where you can tighten things up, where you can give people a system so they're spending less time, so they're not spinning their wheels over and over again, and you can increase your productivity. Increased productivity means increased revenue. The other thing I want to tell you is, when you actually give your team resources and tools that can help them be successful in your business, and you're setting them up for success, you're going to have a lot less turnover. A lot of times people don't leave jobs, they leave owners, and they leave companies. And they do that a lot of times because things become chaotic. They don't trust the owner. They don't feel like the owner has their act together. And this happens a lot in small businesses. Now, maybe not as much in a 20 or a $30 million company or a $50 million company. But when you're talking about a company that's typically under $5 or $6 million, these are the problems that they experience. And so they have a high turnover rate because they don't have the processes and the systems in place, and they don't set their people up for success to even want to stay around. Another example of this is I worked with someone one time and I said, what kind of a sales, or excuse me, what kind of a training program do you have in place to help your home caregivers be successful in the job? And he said, well, we don't really do any kind of training. And I said, why is that? And he said, well, because what if they don't stay and we've spent all that time and money? And I said, what if they do stay? I mean, wouldn't you rather have trained people? And also, they're going to go somewhere else where they can get training, where they can feel successful. You've got to set people up for success. And so you can't think of it this way. Look, you're going to pay for that one way or the other. You're either going to pay for it with turnover, with cost, where people come and go, or you can pay for it with training and keep your people around for a lot of years. You know, I used to spend a lot of money in my businesses in training my staff, and I kept my team a lot of times for years and years and years. And sometimes they would follow me even from business to business. So it's important that you support your team and give them the training and everything that they need to be successful. The next thing we're going to look at are obviously, again, your systems and your processes. And whatever can be systematized should be, and wherever you can put in a process, you should. And again, it's so you're not reinventing the wheel every single time, and everyone follows the same system or the same process. And again, when you're doing this in your business, then you can see where the hangups are. You can see where the bottlenecks are. You can see where the problems are. You know, a lot of money is lost a lot of times in inefficiency. Because someone doesn't have a system or a process to follow, it takes them a lot longer to get a job done, which means more payroll, versus getting the job done quickly, moving on to the next thing. And so you have to, again, these can all be leaks in a business that have to be optimized. And then the other area, and actually it should have been up here, is we look at opportunities in your prices and in your profits in your business, because this is where you want to squeeze the dollars out of your business. And I have to tell you, it's very, very rare that I go in to work with a business where we cannot do things with their prices. Most of the time, business owners are afraid to raise their prices. They're afraid of their competition. And so sometimes they'll go 2 and 3 and 4 years without really doing any kind of a price increase. Yet all the while, their expenses are going up, their costs are going up, they're having to pay their people more, it's costing more for advertising or marketing. Nothing stays the same, right? And so if you are not increasing your prices to keep up with the inflation that's going on in your business, you're already declining, you're already going backwards. And then profitability is another area to look at. Are your profits high enough? It's, you know, I go into businesses so often where their gross profits are just not enough. They're not making high enough gross percentages, gross profit margins. Sometimes they're around 25 or 30% when they need to be up around 50, 55, 60%. And so until you get that profitability right, until that's squared up in your business, you are going to struggle. And again, it's going to keep you overworked, it's going to keep you underpaid, it's going to keep your business from moving forward. Another thing to look at in a business is, where are you missing opportunities and missing out on revenue, things that you could already be doing in your business, but you're not. Okay, so these are also things that you want to look at to capture. What could you be charging for that you're not? This happens a lot. I can't tell you how many companies I work for or work with where I go in and we start working on things and I find out they're giving these certain services away, and I'm like, why are you doing that? You're spending all this time. Well, it's kind of what people do in our industry. Well, you can't run your business this way, and so we'll implement. A good example of this is working with design companies. I've worked with several design companies. I have current clients that are design companies, and they don't charge design fees. So they go do the consultation with the homeowner who's maybe going to get their kitchen remodeled. And then that homeowner, they go through all the design phase with them and they help them pick stuff out, and they do all this work up front and they don't even have a signed contract. That is not a way to do business. So we implement a design fee as part of the sales process. They do the consultation, and then the next phase is the design phase, and at that point they pay the design fee. And then the next phase is actually when they start doing the work, and on and on. And I have to tell you, it increases their cash flow immediately. It helps them close those deals much faster. It helps them quit giving away time. And there are a lot of businesses out there that are not charging for things they should be charging for. And so again, these are opportunities in your business that you may be missing. Another example of this is working with a plumbing company at one time. Their service fees were just too low. They weren't even in the standard in the industry. And they said, well, we're afraid to go higher. We're afraid people, won't hire us, and all of this kind of thing. And I said, look, this is too low. You're not even covering your cost. You are spending all this money for your guys to go out and do these estimates, and you're charging very little for that, and you're losing money on every single service call. And so by raising the service fees and restructuring some things a little bit, they were able to, number one, stop the leak, and they were able to actually close more deals with the way we implemented that. And so you can do this too. Look at the things that you should be charging for that you're not. Another example of this is I worked with an auto repair shop, and they were not charging any additional money for parts. Now, they were a small business, right? If you go to a dealer, that would never happen. But as a small business owners, they want to help their customers. They care about their customers. They don't want to feel like they're gouging them, right? And that's understandable, and that's so admirable. But at the end of the day, you still have to keep your doors open. You still have to be in business. You're the one with all the risk. You're the one that has to pay employees. You're the one that has to create your livelihood. And so you have to do what you have to do in your business. And so by charging, an additional markup on the parts, we were able to add a lot of money to his bottom line, boost his profitability and his profit margins by an awful lot. And we did some other things as well, pricing and again, not giving things away. And so we did some other things too, but we were able to take his profit margins from about 25% to about 55 and 60%. And he was able to actually just explode his business. So look at some of these areas in your business and see some things that you can do different. So that is about it for Optimize. Now, there's lots of strategies that I can talk about, but this is kind of the main strategies or the high-level strategies that you can take away and look at in your business right now to go make more money. In video 4, I am going to talk to you about maximizing. Now that you've got everything optimized, now that everything is working like a well-oiled machine, now that you don't have money leaking out of your business, guess what? You are positioned for growth. And this is the exciting thing, because this is where we're going to actually expand your business, grow your business, implement some new revenue streams, and I'm going to show you how you can make some big financial leaps. Now, I want you to realize that in the optimize phase, you can probably make about $250,000 to $300,000 just in the optimize phase to get you to your million. That's truthfully what typically happens in a business. And now we don't have to work as hard with new revenue streams and things like with the next strategies I'm going to show you that are going to take you all the way to doubling your business. So I will see you on the next video.